We are going for the gold.
And we are doing it in just 24 hours in lovely, landlocked Laos.
Or is it Lao? Laotians or Laotians? Somebody set me straight.
From the top of their very own Arc de Triomphe.
We'll show you how they celebrated victory from France by building this thing right here.
To their big, bold, beautiful Buddhas.
They're performing surgery on the poor guy. He must have anesthesia because he's out like a light.
If you're in the market for a little merchandise along the Mekong or some statue staring,
the sun.
We're coming in hot.
Because as you can tell from the moob sweat, it's warm here. I'm sunburned, it's hot, but I'm celebrating because this is my 77th country and it is a good one. We are right here in Asia and we are taking in the sights and the sounds of Laos. Laos, in this episode of Window Seat. All right, just arrived in Vientiane, Laos. I've only got 24 hours here. Got here at night, so the very first thing you got to do when you come here is come to the night market. It is right here on the banks of the Mekong River. You can't see it, but behind me over there, across the Mekong, is Thailand. And let's take a look at what the night market has to offer.
And while we look around at some of the goods, a little background on Vientiane, Laos. It is a laid-back town of about 1 million people, and like so many places in Asia, the community communes with tourists at one of its main attractions, the night market, a lively shopping and cultural experience every evening from 6 to about 10 p.m.
Look, I always think these markets are a great cultural experience. They're so iconic when it comes to Asia, but I also find that they're full of the same stuff pretty much everywhere you go, knockoff, bootleg products, and it's usually stuff I don't really want, but still fun to check out.
Now that said, there are plenty of bargains to be found here. These are the perfect spots for local clothing and souvenirs, and it is so fun to negotiate on the price. It's such a foreign concept to Americans. We're used to paying whatever's on the sticker, but here you can have some fun with it and try and find a good deal.
For all my griping, this actually was not a bust entirely. This market is huge. There's lots to choose from, stalls that go on for city blocks, and I was able to find a cat t-shirt for my daughter and a couple other little things. So I do actually highly recommend it. 10 out of 10. Come check it out.
Another fun thing to do for families, they've set up a fun little amusement park on the banks of the Mekong with all kinds of carnival rides, games, and attractions.
It's not ultra modern. Disney World, it is not. But it looks like a fun way to spend a weekend night, with your family if you're out here as a local or a tourist. So I want to check it out. And I did get sunburned. Ooh.
Okay, on that note, let's talk about the sun. I started the next day early because even though I'm here at the 1st of March, technically the end of cool season, it is still hot, scorching hot. So be ready for that. Lather up with sunscreen and be sure to hydrate as you take in what might be the #1 tourist attraction in all of Laos.
It is the most sacred monument in the entire country. It's also the national symbol of Laos, and it's pretty magnificent. Let's check it out.
This is Pha That Luang, which means the Great Sacred Stupa. It's a symbol of Lao culture, religion, and sovereignty, and it appears on the national emblem and currency. This stunning golden stupa is a must-visit site blending Buddhism, history, and architectural beauty. Obviously, when you come to this part of the world, no matter which country in Asia, temples are going to be sort of at the top of the list of things to see and experience, some more magnificent than others. This one is really gold and really nice. It's gorgeous, and I can't wait to see what else we can find around here. Located about 4 kilometers northeast of central Vientiane, you'll need a rideshare to get here or ride a bike. I opted for their version of Uber, and it was a quick, cheap ride over here. This place was originally built in the 3rd century, but it's been rebuilt several times over the centuries after being destroyed in the Siamese invasions of the 18th century. It's 148 feet tall, it's covered in gold leaf, and it has several altars where you can make offerings. The one rule is that you take off your shoes and dress modestly. It's actually really touching to come here and see how important this sacred place is to Buddhists, so be mindful of that as you soak in this religious experience.
So it's pretty cool. I mean, I've definitely seen more magnificent temples in this part of the world. I think about some of the great ones in Bangkok, but this one's great, and it's certainly a source of national pride for the people of Laos. Once you get outside the temple, there's also this sort of street market just outside where you can pick up pretty much anything you might need. And the one thing I would suggest is water, because it gets super hot here. Also, sunscreen, not a bad idea.
Also, right next to the temple, I spotted a more modern Buddhist temple called Wat Si Saket. It is a peaceful courtyard outside here, and there's this magnificent 50-foot-long statue of a huge golden reclining Buddha, covered in gold to match the nearby stupa. And of all the Buddhas, reclining Buddha is my favorite. You see this Buddha depicted all over Asia. Symbolically, it represents Buddha in his final moments before attaining nirvana. And haven't we all wondered what that must feel like?
So I've uncovered a little problem with their version of Uber, and that is that they don't have enough drivers. And so I've tried to open the app a couple of times to get to my next destination, and it says no drivers. So I'm hoofing it in the heat. I'm guessing it's probably about 95 degrees out here, 148% humidity. Yeah, enjoy watching me sweat.
All right, I'll stop complaining because this actually does give me a chance to take in some of the sights. And through my barely working Google Maps app, I can tell my next destination is just a couple of miles away, and it's going to be well worth the workout getting there.
All right, well, my little Laotian walkabout lasted about 30, 40 minutes in the dreadful heat, but I did finally get to my next location, and it is the Laotian version of the Arc de Triomphe with some pretty special flair. Let's check it out.
This place is called Patuxai, also known as the Victory Gate or Victory Monument. It is one of the most famous landmarks in Vientiane. It resembles the Arc de Triomphe in Paris, but features distinct Lao architectural and cultural elements. It stands as a symbol of Laos's independence from French colonial rule.
You can actually go to the top of this thing, and we're going to do that right now. Let's check it out.
It costs about 25 cents US to make that walk up 7 flights to the top. And while we do it, a bit more on the history of this place. It was made using concrete donated by the United States that was originally supposed to be used to build an airport runway. Turns out they technically never quite finished construction on this thing because they ran out of money.
All right, we're almost to the top here. Let's check out the outside.
From the top, you get stunning views of the city, the Mekong River, surrounding landmarks, and the nice park down below.
It's interesting. The place looks ancient, but it's not at all. It was actually built in like 1962, so looks hundreds of years old, but it is not.
The arch represents the Buddhist principles of thoughtfulness, amiability, honesty, flexibility, and honor. And if you come to Vientiane, you're definitely going to want to check out this place.
So there you have it, a look inside the Victory Gate. Since 1962, the Laotian people celebrating their independence from France. All right, this seems like a good point to water up again because, as you can tell from the moob sweat, it's warm here. And the funny thing is, you see a lot of locals running around in like hoodies because this is technically still winter, I guess, over here. So they're downright chilly, but it is warm, if you ask me. I found that if you hydrate equal parts water and Pepsi, you know, just balance it all out. Get a little sugar, some much needed hydration. It's not scientific, it's a theory, but I think it works pretty well. Just a quick note about travel to Laos. You may notice from the U.S. State Department travel website that they have issued advisories, and they suggest that maybe you don't come here because of the potential problems and civil unrest and so forth. You'll find that about a bunch of countries on the State Department website, and so you have to weigh all those things when you make the decision on whether or not to come to a country. I've been to several where those similar advisories have been issued and experienced no problem whatsoever. I've never felt for a minute unsafe during this trip either, so you know, come at your own risk, but I guess that's true of pretty much every decision you make in your life day to day. No issues so far, and I don't anticipate any at all.
All right, time to move on to our next stop in Vientiane, if we can find a rideshare.
Okay, so I think I figured out the Uber situation. It's Loca, for one. That's part of the problem. It's not Uber. It's called Loca. And I think the reason that I couldn't hail one is because the cellular service here is really bad. There's no data or whatever. So even though it says you've got 5G, you can't sort of access the app very well. So I think there were cars available, I just couldn't access one. So that's the deal. Use Wi-Fi if you can stop by a small cafe or something to book your ride. So having figured that out, we have now come to our next stop, which was a few miles outside the city, about a 30-minute drive in the car. And we've come to a place called Buddha Park. Let's check it out.
This place is called Siang Quan, and that means Spirit City. It's one of the most unique attractions near Vientiane. It's an open-air sculpture park filled with more than 200 Buddhist and Hindu statues, including a massive reclining Buddha that was having some work done on the day of my visit.
On this day, we get kind of a cool treat right here. These are craftsmen hard at work repairing this big reclining Buddha statue. You can see them chiseling away at some of the old stone, concrete, whatever it is, and fixing it. It's very zen in here too.
This place was founded back in 1958 by a mystic, monk, and artist who blended Buddhist and Hindu imagery into his work. The park covers about 2.5 acres, and it's filled with deities and demons, animals, and Buddhist figures. It'll cost you about $7 US for a ride out here and just about 75 cents to get in. A very small price to pay to experience a place so unique.
You should expect some big crowds here, so be ready for that. Lots of folks come to check out these statues. It's also kind of cool. It's right on the Mekong River, so you can look across the river there and see Thailand just a couple hundred yards on the other side. This is definitely worth the 30-minute drive outside of town. And again, it won't cost you very much, so come check it out. All right, so there you have it. What did you think? That is Vientiane, Laos. 24 hours in this cool Laotian city, or Laotian city. What did you think? What did we leave off the list? What did we forget? Let us know in the comments below. We'd also love it if you liked and shared the video so that we can spread the gospel of travel. And more than anything, please hit subscribe so we can continue to share the journey as we try to hit every country in the world. We are back with a brand new episode of Window Seat next Friday morning, 8 a.m. Eastern. In the meantime, check out one of these other episodes from Window Seat.